What's up, Skirts Up Squad?
Did you just take my line?
It's Samantha.
And Melissa.
I'm going to actually tell you guys how it is right now.
It was so fun.
We couldn't even make it up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear it in public. And she looks at me and she goes, that's what Jesus is for. We are about normalizing things that are hard to talk about.
That was like deer in headlights.
Skirts out. But keep your panties on. Hi, I'm Melissa.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you.
You too. So, where are you based? Are you both based in the same place?
Pretty much. We're like 45 minutes city-wise apart, but we're both in Georgia. You are adorable.
Oh, thank you.
I told you would love her. She self-proclaimed herself as the fairy who likes to say fuck.
I know. I forgot you said
That was actually one of my clients. A client of mine in Louisiana called me a fairy who likes to say fuck. And I thought that's accurate.
Yeah, I see the fairy now. Earlier when Sam said that to me, I was like, oh, okay. Is she like a manic pixie dream girl or what?
You know what's funny?
Right. I totally see the fairy now, Morgana. Like, I feel like you have a boho style, but I know this is the only time I've ever seen you, but
Yeah.
I like it.
I like so judgy.
I'm vibe. It's the vibe I'm feeling. I'm just trying to feel her, meet her where she is. I'm just kidding.
Well, and part of it probably comes from the art. My grandfather painted that.
Oh, wow.
And then my grandmother did the little oils on this side.
Oh,
That is amazing.
Grandpa was actually quite famous. Grandma less so because she didn't have a penis.
That happens. Hit it. Here we go. Today, we're really excited to have with us to speak with our squad, our Skirts Up squad, is Morgana Rae. She actually is a #1 international bestseller for her book, Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation. Sam's laughing, and I don't know why, because I'm on a different page and I can't see her.
Oh, she's just gleefully showing the cover of her book. I love it.
Oh, I'm going to just throw in, too, that in the book, she's lying down in a skirt and her legs are up in the air, and it's adorable because she said, look, it skirts up. And then I really quick just want to add that she has been featured on a lot of different, I don't know, like I would probably guess international again even. So like she's been on talking about wealth and relationship and I think your relationship with wealth on Deepak Chopra with Ariana Huffington, Bob Proctor, and a lot of people call you the money goddess.
Yeah.
And I've been on all the TV networks and the Wall Street Journal, and I even made the evening news in Turkey. So people need a better relationship with money.
It is so true. So we were just talking about your family being pretty eccentric. I'm going to use the word eccentric. Maybe tell me if that's off base.
No, I like the word eccentric.
Yeah? Okay. I like it too.
It doesn't have any negative connotation. I don't like
Not to me either.
You're given a choice.
Right?
Yeah.
Much rather. So you come from a family of artists, like a grandmother who is a ballet dancer.
Oh, and
what else?
She co-created the original, very first ever in the world Renaissance Pleasure Fair in the 1960s. So that's
what is a pleasure fair?
Yeah, the Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
What is
That's
that?
amazing.
Like pleasure as in like a sex thing?
No. Not overtly and not during daylight hours. But it was in 1963. Her friend Phyllis Patterson was blacklisted as a LA Unified School District English teacher because she didn't sign the McCarthy loyalty oath. And my grandmother was a ballet teacher because of her dance background. And they decided to have a fundraiser for KPFK, a super liberal radio station out here in Los Angeles. And so in the Hollywood Hills, they had the first Renaissance Pleasure Fair where people dressed up as they imagined people did in the Renaissance. And I wasn't alive for the first one, so I don't know if it was what I grew up with, Queen Elizabeth and all these guilds. But it became this like huge thing in the 60s, probably.
It's huge now. There's like a huge. Sam, have you ever been to a Renaissance fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So they
That's
created
what
the first
it
one.
started. And it just, that's where I grew up.
She ran with the word pleasure.
Yeah, I sure did.
Well, it's in there for a reason. It's a very, there were a lot of body jokes.
Even
and
hedonistic, I might say, right?
Yes.
A lot
yeah.
of eating, a lot of playing and partying. Well, at least for the paupers, I suppose, but
Well, everybody is sort of, they're all actors. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, and with the big turkey leg, trench
And seeing
leg.
the pleasure.
Yeah.
yes.
I kind of missed a lot of that because I was a little kid and I didn't really pick up on the, what was going on in town.
Yeah.
One time, when I went dressed up like a gypsy, and then like this pirate called me up onto his ship, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to sacrifice you. I give you a sword." Yeah, it was.
That's so fun. This is perfect because what I'm wondering is like what you teach about money and stuff, it seems so concrete. This is me without knowing a lot yet. You're about to teach us some things.
Yeah.
But it seems like money. It's a very concrete thing. Like you can add, you can subtract, it just seems like something tangible, right? Whereas a lot of things that you came from with your family were kind of on the creative side. And so I'm feeling like, and when looking at even just the way you dress, you've got beautiful, like dangly earrings, you have long blonde hair. You're just like really, and I said it earlier, I feel like a boho vibe from you. So I want to know how you mix, and because I'm guessing that you do, take your creative and your fun and all of that energy and put it into the things that you teach and make it more, I'm guessing it makes it more accessible to the common person.
So we have the artists in the family.
Yeah.
And so grandma's first husband, artist, painter.
Okay.
And I got a degree in religion, focusing on the most obscure tantric, esoteric traditions in Hinduism and Buddhism and Judaism.
Did you ever do Mormonism?
No.
Bummer.
I
would have loved to talk to you one day
because my
about that.
grandmother was born in Shanghai. I was really interested, and I grew up with this big cast iron Buddha when I was a fat kid being teased for being fat. And yet there's this big fat guy in Asia that all these people worship. That was a question for me that carried on until I got to college and wanted to find out. So I took a class on Eastern religion and then I was hooked.
Beautiful.
So I was a religion major, but I was also a national math and science scholar. So I speak both languages. I've kind of got a foot in the intuitive magical world and the just very, very sensible concrete world too. So it's funny that you talk about money being concrete because I actually look at money as an abstract concept.
Okay.
The numbers.
I love this story too.
Yeah. The numbers are real, but one of the reasons I had to develop my own program and coaching modality is because of my really, really impressive personal financial failure.
Okay.
So, went into Smith College, Dean's List, all that kind of stuff. Graduated, coaching all these LA celebrities and getting this reputation for having this magic touch, and people without credits, from my first month, my clients were selling films, booking primetime TV starring roles and getting awards and stuff like that. Okay. And I was getting all these certifications, mountains of testimonials. I had the website, the brochure, because way back in the olden days, we had these paper brochures, crazy shit. And cards and taglines and all the things that you're supposed to be doing. And in March of 2003, I was living in Los Angeles with the website and the brochures and the taglines and the public speaking and the reputation and all of that. And I was struggling to make $100 a month in one of the most expensive cities in the world. That doesn't cover anything, food, insurance, rent, nothing. So I was just, and it didn't make any sense at all. And I was taking all the classes. In fact, not only was I not making money, but I was spending money on classes to teach me what I was already doing.
Right. You hear all the time, you have to spend money to make money. And there's a truth to that, I do think, but it also can get out of hand.
You can also spend money and make no money.
That's right.
And because what it came down to, so I was taking the marketing classes, the sales classes, all the things you're supposed to be doing, and doing it really well because I'm a good student. And I also live in the capital of woo. So I have a bunch of friends who would speak codes and wave their hands and blow into my third eye and make me hyperventilate to rebirth and like every crazy thing you can think of, hey, I'll give it a try. And none of it was working. And I had the vision board and I had the mantras and I had the mindset, and I was struggling to make $100 a month. And even that was looking sketchy. And so that's why I had to come up with, and I was in a way lucky that I had an experience that happened to me that changed things, and then I reverse engineered it to help other people. The reason I went on this tangent when I started talking about how money is an abstract concept, I care about people. That's what excites me, helping people. That is real to me. Those are my values. Money is this sort of bloodless idea. It's this thing I need. I love to buy things like anybody else. I love to have it. But if I'm faced with a person or this ethereal idea, money, a person in need matters more to me. That's where my heart goes. That's what I care about. And money is honestly this make-believe thing that we human beings created for very, very good reason. Because trading cows is cumbersome, hard to fit in your purse. Having a credit card or cash is just a lot more efficient for the vast distribution of goods and services that keep humanity alive. So I'm not against that at all.
Of course.
But it's something we made up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a collective make-believe that one purse is worth $5 and another purse is worth $5,000 because they're both bags. Money represents, I think, the
Power.
purest issues of our human experience, which is it represents love.
I was going to say love. I listened to a podcast quite a few years ago, and if I can find it, I'll send it and we can link it, Sam. But it was on NPR, and it was talking about currency since the beginning of time. And that's what it all freaking boiled down to, is like it represents love as in like value. Like, am I valued? It was really interesting.
I separate the two a little bit, but they do have a lot of overlap because there's a fundamental question, am I wanted?
Okay.
So I would say love. Am I loved? Am I lovable? The second one, I would say value. But it's not just am I valued, but am I worthy? Do I feel good enough? Or is there something wrong with me? So that value, that worth is, I think, the second thing that it represents. The third one is safety. This is a big one. Is the world a safe place? And it's like, does the universe want me here? Do I have a right to exist? Huge issues of pain. And of course, power. Am I powerful or am I helpless? And abuses of power are so associated with money. So there's a lot of pain that we want to create distance from. And so in my case, way back in 2003, I had just finished taking this class on overcoming sales objections. I was already doing everything right, and we couldn't figure out why.
Did you say sales rejections or objections?
Oh, objections. Sales. So when somebody says, and thank you for calling me on that,
Just wondering.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, "Oh my God, I would love to buy your thing, but I can't afford it or I don't have time or whatever."
Okay.
There are no shortage of classes. You can probably even get it for free online of what to say when somebody
Okay.
says, "Oh, I'd love to, but I can't afford it or I don't have time," and all that kind of stuff. And so way back in 2003, I'd taken all the other classes and somebody is promising to teach me the magic words to overcome these objections. So,
Okay.
I signed up, I took the classes, great student. So I applied these words and 7 people, I overcame their objections and they said yes to me being their coach. By the way, I had like so many people who wanted to hire me at that time. And it was just so weird that something wasn't happening. Right.
Okay.
And so I took this class and oh my God, holy grail, it solved the problem. 7 people said yes. And then the punchline is those 7 people didn't show up for our first coaching call and never paid me.
Oh
Ah.
no.
And
So it was the
that,
wrong 7 people that said yes.
it didn't
Maybe?
matter. It
Okay.
didn't matter because what was the through line? Me. And I had been doing everything, every teacher told me to do, every book told me to do, every coach told me to do, and bupkis.
Yeah.
And that was kind of when I just lost it. And I remember being in my teeny tiny apartment that I could not afford
Yeah.
and dragging close the blackout curtains and crypting out my bedroom and getting on my bed and just wailing and crying and raging because I felt so set up. Like here, I finally knew what I was to do in my life and I was really good at it. And it didn't matter because I couldn't make a living at it. And it felt like this sadistic cosmic joke that I would never be able to make a living.
Yeah, you used the word punchline, and like you feel like you're the butt of the joke.
Totally.
Who's playing games with me?
The universe, God, whatever you want to call it. I just felt hated by life, by God, by the universe.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to play. I wanted to take my ball and leave the planet, and you know exactly what I mean. When I cried myself out and raged myself out, I had a couple of thoughts. And the first one was maybe money needed to be my next area of spiritual growth.
Okay.
Honestly, that was a cheat because I thought if I could put money in the spirituality box, maybe then I could deal with it.
That's so funny because I was about to ask you, so is money a way to can you be spiritual too? But okay,
Yes.
so you're saying
oh, fuck yes.
can, but it's not
First step
necessarily.
Well, that was not the idea that changed my life,
Okay.
but it does play into what happened after. So the other thought that I had was, what is going on inside of me that I don't know about that can't be with money because this doesn't make sense? Good grades, doing all the stuff,
Good
not getting good
clients.
results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am talking to all of you good student overachievers right now who are doing all the things and you aren't getting the results. And it doesn't, maybe it's money, maybe it's love, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's health, whatever it is. Because by the way, I did the same process that I'm going to tell you about with money. I did the same process 9 years later on love and met my husband 2 months later. So
You have my ear.
So I have this question, what is going on inside of me that can't be with money? Like, that's weird, sudden curiosity. So soon after that, I have a conversation with my coach. And I want to pause and point out how wildly weird it is to say that I had a coach when I was making $100 a month, could not afford rent, health insurance, food, anything. And I was, living on debt. I know nobody knows what that's like. But I had a coach, thank goodness, because it really saved my life. And this coach graduated from coaching school and got certified the same day I did. That's how I knew him.
Okay.
But he owned a house and I'm struggling to make $100 a month. And I was doing everything he told me to do. And because I'm a good student, and it didn't matter. And when you're doing all the right stuff and it doesn't matter, that's when I want you to pay attention, because what I believe now, based on my personal experience and coaching thousands of people since then, and a lot of them starting at zero and making millions of dollars quickly, I believe that when you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing and putting forth the effort and working at it, and you aren't
Overtime.
getting the results you should get, and it doesn't make sense, it is my experience that you are probably protecting yourself from what you want.
That's me.
And you are not crazy, and you are not wrong, and you are not a failure. You are actually very, very successful at protecting yourself from a threat. And it is a real threat. It's just not what you think it is.
Okay.
So I was, in fact, protecting myself from money. And now I'm telling this all out of order, but I'll let you know how I found out.
Sounds in order to me.
Okay. So I have this call with my coach. And instead of that great attitude, okay, coach, I'm just vomiting my rage and resentment and despair into his lap. And I have to tell you, by the way, if you don't know this, coaches love this. And I'm not being sarcastic. It gives us something to work with. And I don't know if he loved it or not. I'm just speaking for myself. But it inspired something from him that had never happened before. And he asked me this weird question that changed my life. And this is where you want to lean in.
Okay.
He asked me, if your relationship with money was a person, who would your money be? And because in that moment I was in so much pain, when he asked me that question, I saw in my mind's eye immediately this big, scary, violent biker dude, bald with the sideburns and the tattoos and the wife beater shirt and like a big buckle and jeans, and nothing wrong with guys who look like that. But this one, with this particular guy, was just like oozing malevolence, danger. And I had this moment of imagining myself at a live event and having my eye on him all the time to create maximum distance between us. And that was my big aha moment. I was creating distance from money, and I never knew that I was doing it. So everything I was doing consciously didn't matter, because unconsciously, which is 99% of us,
Yeah.
all of our beliefs, attitudes, and actions spring from our unconscious. So our results come from
There's that subconscious again popping up.
Yeah.
Well, this is, by the way, what I'm teaching is a way for the conscious mind to communicate with the unconscious and get both of you on the same page.
Right.
So that when you go here, you go here. So because seeing money as a person is the language of the unconscious. It makes the relationship real, tangible. It's like, if you asked me what he smelled like, I could tell you, and all that kind of he smelled like sweat, must.
While you were talking, I got an image in my head for me.
Yeah.
Earlier, Sam had mentioned that that's something that you tell people to do. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. But I didn't put more thought into it. But it just kind of like epiphany style came to me while you were talking. And
Good.
I thought that, anyway, we can talk about that later. But
I'll take you through the 6 steps. Right now, I'm mashing them all together just to get through. I'm giving context, so when I teach the steps, they'll actually mean something.
thank you.
So all I knew was, heck, I never knew that I felt this way about money. Money felt really dangerous. And I had this moment of, oh, well, no wonder I don't have money in my life. And in that moment, I was coming from a place of not being able to make money, having scarcity. I've also coached 1%ers and even a billionaire. And they have money monsters too. It just shows up differently for them. But underneath the root causes, love, worth, safety, power, are pretty universal to human beings. Our circumstances may look really, really different, but our deepest vulnerabilities, not so much. So biker dude, dangerous. I could feel that he wanted to hurt me, destroy me, kill me. And there was no way that I could have money in my life if it was him. It was not an accident that I was pushing money away. Huge aha moment. So I knew there was no way I could have money if it was that guy, and I had to get rid of him. This relationship was not working. At that time, I just broke up with him. That's not what I teach now. I'm a lot bloodier. Just I've tried this out with other people and found what works better. But
Okay.
at that moment, it was good enough.
Okay.
Split. If you've ever broken up, with a toxic relationship, good life skill here. And as soon as he was gone, I felt this weird emptiness all around me, like a fish out of water. Like this relationship with money was so much a part of this negative, toxic, soul crushing, you're not good enough, you're not wanted relationship with money was so pervasive in my life. I never even knew it was there until it was gone. And then I felt like this really weird emptiness, this vacuum. And I thought, crap, I need to fill this before he comes back. And that's the problem with breaking up with him, why it's a lot more permanent solution now. So I thought to myself, it's one of those things where you solve one problem leads to the new one. So yeah, I got rid of the monster. Oh, heck, I live in LA and I have no relationship with money. Got to fix that quick. Because I knew that if I left the space open, he would come back.
Okay.
I thought to myself, who could I want in my life so much that I would want this person even if it's money? Because the only relationship with money that I really had, and this goes back to childhood and family fights and stolen inheritances. I made a decision when I was about 12 that I was going to ignore all the money that was stolen from me because this was adult stuff and I would just choose to love everybody. But I didn't know until decades later that I had made a decision that money got in the way of love, and I choose love. So goodbye, money.
Okay.
And that's part of why he was so dangerous to me. So he's gone, and I'm thinking, who could I want so much that I'd want this person even though it's money? So it would need to be somebody so safe and so wonderful that it would be so different. Because if you've been in a domestic violence relationship, you don't want to get into that ever, ever, ever again. This is the moment in the movie where you get a really bad haircut and a really bad makeover, and that's where I was. Minus the haircut this time.
You're like, I'm pretty beautiful that way.
And so when I asked myself that question, who could I want so much? Because, and this will make sense when I go through the steps, because I started out in like such real visceral agony. And then the monster was so real and ready-made, kind of there. And then he was so gone. When I asked myself the next question, a new person showed up in my mind's eye. In my case, it was a guy, because I'm cis hetero, and that's kind of where I go. That's, but it doesn't, I've had clients, it doesn't matter. What I do say that is you want your new relationship with money to be human. And I learned that through trial and error with my own clients.
Okay.
So when I asked that question, who could I want my money to be? Suddenly this tall, dark, handsome, romantic, super sweet, super safe guy in a tuxedo, slick back hair, holding a bouquet of red flowers just appeared in my mind's eye. And the biggest quality was he felt like love. And he loved me. And I had been breaking his heart for years by pushing him away. And he wanted to woo me. And my reaction to that at the time was, whoa, that is weird. Because I had never thought of money wanting to woo me. But it felt really good. And I also got a sense that he wanted to be with me in a way that, like, in, big volume, just really wanted to be with me. And I was like, whoa, I have no idea how to allow big money into my life. So I asked him. And I also, because he felt so real, all these thoughts just sort of like dominoes just kind of fell into my mind, was that I got this awareness that I had the power in the relationship, that he wanted to be with me, but I could keep him out. And I had been keeping this sweet guy out all this time. And it broke his heart. I have the body. I'm the gatekeeper. All this time I thought money was the gatekeeper. I was the gatekeeper that would let him in or out. So I asked him, what do you need from me to allow you to be with me? Which is a very different question than what do you need from me to love me? Because love is unconditional. He loved me, but presence is conditional. I could push him away. So I didn't know how to let him in. I had like Olympic muscles of money repulsion. I often think I should have had a suit with a big R on my chest because that was my superpower, money repulsion, big R.
Okay, I got you.
So
in the story, I didn't laugh, but it is
all right.
funny.
So I asked him, what do you need from me to allow you to be with me the way you want to be with me? And because he was so real and so human in my imagination, and imagination is the language of the subconscious, speaking to the conscious, he said, I need you to love me, and I need you to stop treating me like a monster. And so I have to pause here and tackle that whole, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Oh,
There's no way to not address that if you're me. So love is never evil. Love does not exploit. Love does not cause harm. Love is not avarice. Love is not scarcity. Love does not punish. Love is kind and generous and noble in our best selves. And that's all love is.
yeah.
All love is. So I also have a friend in England who took a class in ancient Aramaic, which is the original language of the Old Testament. And what it said in the original language before, many translations, in Aramaic, it said, the worship of money will cause you problems. And I would say, yeah,
100%.
I agree with that statement. That's different. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So money is not God. It's not Oprah. It's not Gandhi. It is your partner. And you have the body, so you have more power. But when you're able to see yourself through the eyes of this entity that loves you and doesn't have your neuroses and hangups, you can see things a lot better. I call this entity money, but it's really relationship with life.
Okay.
And it feels like love, but it's relationship with life. I call it money because money is the area of life that needs my love and healing. And I also believe it is the area of life that needs humanity's love and healing.
Right.
For us to fulfill our potential and even survive. But that's moving on. So money told me what he needed. And I thought of all the times people asked me what I charged and how I would get all freaked out as if money was this, big, ugly, stinky monster that I didn't want anyone to know about. But everybody could feel it. And that's why they weren't showing up. So I made a commitment that next time this cute guy, Money Honey, because it runs, brought me a gift, which at that time would look like a client, I would say thank you. I wouldn't be like, oh, wrong color, chartreuse, no, send it back. I would just say thank you. By the way, when I'm saying, rejecting it, that's like, my neuroses of it's just rejecting money. So I would just say thank you. And so the punchline is, again, another punchline, a nicer one this time, is that over the next few days, 4 people showed up and hired me at double what I'd ever charged before.
Wow.
And it was uncomfortable the first time because I had the sense memory of talking people out of the sale that I was never aware that I was doing until I'm like noticing my tongue wanting to create obstacles Don't you want a sample session? No, I had given that person a sample session like 6 months before. I just had to say the price and shut up. Very, very good skill that you can tell I'm not great at. I had to just shut up. And because when they get quiet on the other end, they're just figuring out how to make it happen. And then I have to let them pay me. And, over time I got better at that. And I just got more and more clients and my rates just, kept going up and I've made millions of dollars since then. Wow. But I'm the person who was struggling to make $100. I don't know how much time we have left, but I do want to lay out the 6 steps. Now that I've told you the story, I think the steps behind what happened will make more sense. Because then I needed to, since I'm getting all these clients, and the clients are human beings, which means that they had money issues. Because money tends to be the number one excuse that we human beings give for what we can't have, do, or be. And having, doing, and being is the business of life coaching. People want to have, do, and be things, be themselves, fulfill their potential. So the money thing would come up and I go, hey, I've got an idea. And I would try to turn their money into a cute person. And these are, the early months of 2003. And it would just splat. And I'd be like, why isn't that working for you? What are you doing wrong? And of course, I had to look at what is missing here?
Okay.
And that's figuring out, by the way, solved it. I learned how to make it work on other people with other people. And I still do, because to this day, I just had my money goddess retreat in Bali this year. And I had my first client ever who has no visual inner representation at all. So to ask her to, see a monster, see a money honey, that doesn't work.
She's not doing
that.
that.
So every client brings a new twist and a new challenge, which is what makes this endlessly interesting for me and just, grows, evolves, deepens the work. But so heading back to where we are now, I'm just going to try and give you the Cliff's notes of the Cliff's notes of the Cliff's notes. So step number 1, there are 6 steps to get from money monster to money honey. Okay. Money is this, monster of scarcity that keeps you from the wealth that we want to free you up to focus your life on love and lifestyle and legacy. Because I believe that is the purpose of money, is to free you up to focus all of your life's attention on quality love, quality lifestyle, quality legacy. Even if you're making $1 billion from doing,
I feel the same. I always think to myself, or I've said it to friends, what the heck? Why can't I have money? I love giving and sharing and doing good things. I would be such a good person to have money because I would share it. And so I always think no, yeah, money is the way, you need it to be able to help people sometimes.
It certainly helps. Not having it is a life and death crisis. It's very expensive to be poor.
Let's just we'll talk about the poor tax maybe, but yeah.
No, believe me, it's I encounter this all the time and it's heartbreaking and horrifying, and that goes into my monster. So we're going to start with step 1 is uncovering the root cause of your money monster. And while a lot of my friends in the coaching world love to say, change your money story, change your life, that has never been true in my experience. The money story, staying with, all about money, that is the symptom, not the root cause. It just doesn't go deep enough. And while lots of people talk about a millionaire mindset, I also don't believe in mindset, because we're talking about, remember, the conscious mind and the subconscious, and this is only maybe 1 or 2%.
Fair.
So mindset, we all set our intentions on New Year's Day, and then we see the chocolate cake, and what happens?
I actually don't do New Year's resolutions because of that.
Exactly. Because what is deeper is our appetite and our desire. So I would prefer to talk about a millionaire heart set, because the mind will always follow the heart. So we're going to dig up emotions. And this process, I call it financial alchemy, registered trademark. Because alchemy is the transmutation of lead, as in lead in human experience, into gold, as in spiritual and material gold. So we're digging up the lead in step number 1, uncovering the root cause, which is anything that has ever made you feel unloved or unlovable, anything that has ever made you feel unworthy or not valued, anything that has ever made you feel unsafe, especially if it doesn't look like it has to do with money. Anything, if you had an illness, if you had an accident, if you experienced violence, homelessness, but it's more related to money. But all these, anything that wars, pollution, anything that makes the world an unsafe place will show up negatively in your relationship with money, because money represents safety or the absence of it, and power. Any abuse of power, anytime you felt helpless, which I think is the worst feeling in the world. Well, they're all related, just bad feelings. So what we want to do is we want to just dig up, and you don't have to get all of it, not necessary. And you also do not need to re-traumatize yourself. And you don't want to go so far that you dissociate. So we just want to get what I call, in scientific terms, a critical mass of ick. Where it's like, and if you're crying, extra credit, but not necessary. But just, it's sort of like you're a lawyer and you're building a case against God and everything that, and I don't want to freak out anybody with my blasphemy. So you're building a case against the universe.
There you go.
With like, this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened and this is happening and this is happening, and all the things that,
Do you let all this happen?
yeah, all the things that make life feel like it's not worth living, like you don't want to be here. Again, you don't have to get all of it. Not necessary.
I'm glad you said that, because my first thought was, man, it takes years of therapy for some people to even find out what's holding them back and then work on it.
And even if it's stuff that you've healed,
So kind of a baseline.
it pops up again and you can use it, reuse it. Anything that has energy. We're just looking for what has energy, what pops into your consciousness.
Okay.
And that's what we will use. And when you get enough, it's like, whoa, this is horrible. Blah. Then we imagine that step number 2 is personify the root cause. Then we imagine that there is an entity, a person with thoughts and intentions that is all malicious, all bad, that is behind everything. And by the way, in step 1, we want to make it really personal to you. Like, I had a client where her root cause was she realized she'd always been coming second best, like the second favorite child and the second favorite student, and just everything that was her thing. It's always going to be related to something about not good enough, not some deep shame or the world not being safe and not wanted. But, it's going to be a different, and it'll be whatever lights up the energy for that is when I'm coaching, what I'm listening for.
Okay.
And it's because if you knew what it was going in, you would have fixed it a long time ago. But I just want you to just follow the energy and find what gets the most emotion. And then imagine that there is a third party, not you and not your parents, that is like the puppeteer behind all of it. Some really malicious monster. The more human, the better. A dark cloud is kind of amorphous and harder to get rid of. I really want to make it real, and I want it to have thoughts. What it thinks about you, what it says to itself about you, what it whispers in your ear that you might mistake for your own negative thoughts.
Interesting.
And what does it smell like, and how big is it, and what does its fingernails and teeth and eyeballs look like? Just kind of flesh it out like that. And when it's big and bad and real enough, I want you to put everything that does not have permission in your life experience, everything this does not have permission to be in my life experience. I want you to put it into that monster. And then step number 3, I want you to annihilate it by any means possible or necessary. And everything is possible because it's your imagination. So you annihilate it by any means necessary, whether it's an imaginary nuclear bomb or a lightsaber or a machete or a fiery pit or a volcano or piranhas, or one of my clients ran over her monster with a monster truck. You just whatever it takes, because you are rejecting it. And the reason I had a client in Europe who was very upset by this step because she said, but I'm a vegan. This is I understand. Like, I don't watch violent movies. I cover my eyes. I cover my, I just, very sensitive.
Annihilating evil is okay.
Well, there's the victim experience, which starts the process, which is very important. I see it as like it has this kind of sinking feeling to it.
Okay.
But going, no, channeling Monty Python and saying, thou shalt not cast, has a real uplifting energy where you take your power back. And we have St. Michael slaying the dragon. We've got the goddess Durga in India and Queen Boudica in England. And we have all sorts of wonderful archetypes of, especially with women, we don't really learn about them that much. But, Kali and Durga just slaying ignorance and demonic forces so that we get to rise in our power.
Okay, I'm still laughing just because I have this vision of kicking down a door and being like, I am Spotron. Like, I'm sorry, I had to say it. Okay.
Whatever helps you, I would guess. I had a situation with a therapist where I was working with through EMDR though, to get rid of some from sexual abuse trauma. And I literally had an image of my mind of being that child in that home in that moment, and the earth opening up and his house and he both falling into a hole into the ground. And that was the final moment I was able to kind of move past.
Not even bloody, like just disappears.
Right.
And went indifferently.
Yeah. I've also had, if you need to blast it with love and that destroys it, fine. But I want it to be final. I want no bloody bits, no ashes that can later reconstitute into some sort of monster zombie. I want it gone, very binary, ones and zeros. It is or it isn't. And when it isn't and it's completely gone, that's step number 3. It will feel different than anything you've experienced in your life because you've had this relationship since birth and maybe even before. And now it's gone and it's going to feel different. And it may feel light. It may feel expansive. I've had a client from the other side of the world tell me that the sun came out as soon as she killed her monster. And it may even feel scary because it's unfamiliar. All of those results are good. Those are like green lights telling me that we can proceed to step 4, which is now you get to meet your money honey. And when you have destroyed the monster and everything the monster is, all that remains is love. That's all that remains. So this new person will be love. But if we slayed your money monster, we are going to call this new person your new relationship with money. And even your money honey, if you will. And the rules of money honey are that your money honey loves you more than anybody else in the world, chooses you. This is your relationship. And your money honey loves you unconditionally. And the third rule is, and you want a relationship with this money honey. You have to feel good. You have to like it too. Him, her, they. Quick thing, I prefer human. back in the olden days when I was really new at this, clients were like having dogs and cats, and one even
I
had
was
a
gonna
bone
ask
and a
that.
gong and like really wild shit. And it's like, okay, let's give it a try because that's what coaches do. We try it out and see if it works. It didn't. One was like, my money, and she was another coach who I was coaching. And this is such a coachy thing to say, my new money is a playmate and we're playing in the sand. Nothing happened until she came back and changed her money to Viggo Mortensen and then made $10,000 in late 2040. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Melissa, that's sweat dripping down your
Now we're serious. This is like,
Yeah, you want it to light you up. And speaking to people who've had sexual violence in their backgrounds, or maybe never had a safe relationship, and I've coached many, many, many of you. This money honey is safe. If it's not, doesn't feel good to have a sexy money honey, then don't.
I was gonna ask earlier if it could be like a old crone or someone who just owns or maybe like a benefactor from the earth or something, if that makes sense.
So maybe, maybe not. And here's why. It's one of the reasons I like the lover archetype is because lovers are equal and you can break your money honey's heart. What I don't want is money being, the benefactor, the Santa Claus, because what that does is it takes your power away and infantilizes you.
Okay.
So I want it to be somebody you worthy of your deepest trust and admiration, who feels really, really good and sees how brilliant you are.
You did say earlier
when you don't see it.
that you're the one with the body in the partnership, so you have more power. So I see how a benefactor that is not the relationship you're looking for. Okay.
It's not serving the evolution
We
that
have
we
power.
want here. Like, The Secret, the movie, the book, The Secret. And I'm friends with a lot of the people who are in that movie. And I know what their real lives are like. It gives the impression that you can just sit on a couch and think of gold and it will, fall from the sky. And that you sitting on the couch is not what you're here to do while you're in this life, unless that's physically your capacity. And then then that's the circumstance that we're dealing with. But the point I'm trying to make is I want this relationship to empower you, but it gives you this opportunity to be loved, feel safe, and see reality undistorted by the wounds and trauma that distort your value and the opportunities that are right there that we can't see when we're in fear. And the higher any emotion goes up, the lower our intelligence. When we are in the arms of our loving, loving, loving money honey, we relax. We feel safe. And what wakes up? The frontal lobe, our genius zone. So when we're seeing the world through the eyes of our money honey, we're seeing through our genius zone and even our intuition. And we're seeing everything differently than we have seen it before. And so we want this loving relationship that we want, who loves us, and that's step number 4. And now to put it into action, step number 5 is have a conversation. Have a conversation with your money honey. And the great thing is the way our brains are set up is if you ask a question, you get an answer. And if the answer comes from your money honey, where you're imagining that you're hearing it from this third party, it is a great way to hack into your intuition.
Okay.
While also anchoring your value, your worth, your lovability, your resourcefulness, your power.
I'm hearing that we already know what we need on a subconscious level. We just have to be able to get to it. Yeah. We just have to be able to get to it. And these 6 steps are a really good hack / like you said, tool.
And I've been really interested, math science major with this kind of woo side. So of course I'm super interested in quantum physics and this notion of this 0 point field throughout existence that keeps a record of everything that has happened and even has happened. Because I've had the power of premonition since my car accident when I was 16 and
Okay.
I told you about. And I have this experience of it feels like remembering things that haven't happened yet. And then I have to wait for reality to catch up. So I describe it as my clock runs a little fast. And I frequently hear things or know things moments, minutes, or longer before my client says it. But at least, especially in coaching, if I say, well, when will this happen? And they'll say 6 months. And it's like, oh, that's weird. I heard 2 weeks. Really? And they'll usually tell me what I heard. Or I was just having a brunch with a favorite client from Italy who was in town. And I was asking her what she was going to manifest this year. And I heard clear as day, 1 million. And she's talking about all these things. And I said, yeah, but what's the number? What's the amount? And she says 1 million. Because a couple months earlier, I was having a conversation with her and I asked her, are you planning to become a billionaire? And she said, yes. And I said, good, because that's what I see for you. And that's the first time I've seen that.
Wow.
But I totally, I see that happening. But anyway, so I digress. I'm a digressor. Sorry. So step 5 is you have a conversation with your money honey. You are totally free to steal my first one, which is, hey, what do you need from me? To allow you to be with me the way you already want to be with me. Here, all the presuppositions. Your money wants to be with you, and it's up to you. And your money will tell you. So that's step 5. Step number 6 is take concrete, measurable action. My action was all those years ago, back in March 2003. I told my money honey I would say thank you. What that looked like in practical terms was I would state my fee with the energy of, isn't he beautiful? And then I shut up and let people hire me.
Yeah.
Crazy. What a concept, right? But with clients, what I love about this conversation is what that action may be that isn't necessarily so on the nose. Once in a while, I'll have a client who will say, okay, I'm going to make 30 cold calls a day. And my immediate gut reaction is, oh, that sounds so heavy. And I say, check in with your money honey. Is that what does that make your money honey happy? And she goes, no. Okay. So what would make your money honey happy? And it ended up being something like going dancing. I've got a whole website, morganarae.com.
Yes. Thank you.
With a blog that, answers, years and years and years of answering client questions. I have a book that walks you through the process and what happens after to stay in relationship with your money honey, and a manifestation system. The whole second half is just a manifestation system.
Have people used your book and your book only to have success, or does that typically only come through the one-on-one sessions?
Thank you for asking. The reason I have the book, honestly, I want people to have success without coaching with me, which is a weird thing to say.
Everyone, you said
coaching
that earlier.
is, my main livelihood, and
Right.
But my client Pam, with the old version from 2013, the skirts up version.
Financial Alchemy.
Alchemy,
Skirts Up.
magic and manifestation. This one is better because the other one is dated and says things I don't say anymore, and this has more updated content.
Okay.
Where I'm fatter, blonde, or older.
You're so cute. You're so cute.
And but my client Pam had her first quarter of $1 million sales month just using my workbook before we had ever spoken, before she hired me. She hired me, and then she bought the company that she was making those sales for.
Wow.
I get success stories from people who just hear me doing what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I love that because it makes the world a better place for me. We all want to create the world we want to live in. And I want to help people, and I want people to have breakthroughs and happiness. And also, by the way, when people do it on their own and they have great results, that makes them even better clients.
Yeah.
Because wherever you take yourself, I can always take you farther. And so when Carol and Kana made $86,000 within 24 hours after hearing me talk and then buying, like a $99 package, then she hired me to coach her for a year. And I was like, when I looked at her application, I was like, oh my God, we already know my shit works on her. Yay. So again, I can't coach 8 billion people, but I want everybody on earth to know that they are loved and worthy and safe and powerful, and to live that way and to have quality love and lifestyle and legacy. So that's why I try to give everything I can in the time that we have, and then say, and if and when you need more support, I have a website. I have a book, I have blog posts. I have coaching.
Beautiful.
I have retreats in Bali.
I think I'm going to sign up. Sam's laughing probably already because she's like, you're going to go broke working with the people that we have on every time. But the truth is, I don't work with everyone, Sam.
Yes.
But I think I'm going to sign up because I think you could help me take my business. My business is a stagnant space. Like, I super need help. And I think I'm going to work with you.
I think definitely what I heard and took from you, though, is that you created everything that you do. And like, this is obviously how you make your living. You're helping people help themselves. And then what you're saying is, I can always take you further. So once you are able to help yourself enough to be stable and, be above where you need to be, come back to me and I can give you more. So it's like a never ending giving.
My value system is, I believe transformation should be available whatever your economic circumstances are. So I give away everything I can for free. And then for a more curated experience, I have programs like my book, or I have I have some online stuff too. And then for really, really deep experiences that I can actually guarantee, that's where coaching comes in, because transformation should be available for everybody, but my time and attention can't be. And Melissa, you and I will have a conversation, and I will hear the specifics, and I will I'll give you a few options to choose from.
Okay.
To see, what feels best, what makes the most sense, what's the most doable for you.
Okay.
But yeah, I would love to have, and anybody watching, just fill out an application. And I don't choose clients based on present circumstances. I get an energy from the application. So I've had clients who on paper, there's no way that I could see them hiring me. And I'd be screaming in the back of my head. There was one of my favorites, a spiritual singer named Asina, who at the time was kind of a psychic by the hour, with mountains of debt, single mom, struggling. And I'm hearing her story. And by the way, she'd already flayed a monster and had a money honey of her own who told her to hire me.
Okay.
But I'm hearing her circumstances. I'm going, oh my God, I can't take her money. Yeah, she's on the abyss. And then I had this other voice, my money honey, saying, shut the fuck up. She's an adult, and let her make her decision.
Right.
So I let her hire me. As crazy as that, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Within a few months, she was making tens of thousands of dollars. And she was, instead of selling by the hour, selling packages. And she was going on money moons. She made that up, these spiritual honeymoons with her money down to Miami.
All right, Sam, we're going on a money moon.
And then at a certain point, her money honey said, you're not allowed to coach anymore. I just want you to just make music. Nice. And so that's the path that she's on.
That's amazing. And I also like that you have so many different ways, because people learn in different ways, and sometimes people need a handheld, And so, yeah, the right thing for them would be to go towards coaching. Some people want to like just delve in and they can do it through the book. Yeah, this is great.
There is one last thing.
Yeah. If you feel like you have to say it, it's because someone needs to hear it.
Okay. My mantra these days is that change happens at the speed of safety. So if change isn't happening, something isn't safe, and you deserve to be safe. So what we need to do is uncover what is unsafe and make what you want safe. Because I've seen a very, very strong tendency when we make that thing safe, whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's health, whether it's selling your house, whatever it is that's been stuck, when we make it safe, there is a very, beyond what I can logically account for, there's a very strong tendency of change to happen really quickly.
We have things waiting for us. We just need to figure out how to let it in.
Make that space. Well, for a fairy who likes to say fuck a lot, I only heard it once.
Did you like the episode that you heard today? Great! Share it with a friend and don't forget to rate and review.